I came across this story on Reddit while browsing late-night camping threads. At first it seemed like just another creepy tale, but the deeper I went, the more it felt real. It's about a group of friends who went camping and never really came back the same. Here's what I found. Title: Woke up in a different forest. We're not where we set up camp anymore. I don't even know how to explain this without sounding completely insane. But something happened to me and my friends last weekend that we still can't make sense of. I haven't slept properly since. Maybe someone here can help us figure out what the hell we experienced. There were 4 of us. Me, Jake, Sarah, and Chris. We've been doing annual camping trips for years now, always picking remote spots to really get away from people and cell service. This time, we chose a place called Pine Hollow, which is about a 3-hour drive from our town and known for its dense pine forests, clearings, and small creeks. When we first got there, I remember feeling off. At the time, I brushed it off as nerves or overthinking, but looking back, there were subtle signs that something wasn't right. For starters, the forest was quiet. Not peaceful quiet, empty quiet. No birdsong, no insects buzzing, no rustling of animals, just the sound of our own footsteps and breathing. At one point, we passed a tree with deep gouges down its bark, almost like claw marks, but far too high up to have come from any normal animal. Jake joked that it was probably a bear, but the marks didn't look like bear scratches. They were too uniform, almost like they'd been carved. We also noticed that there were no trails. Normally in state forests like Pine Hollow, you can see at least some faint footpaths or signs of other campers. But here, nothing. Just untouched underbrush and trees pressing in tight on either side. And then there was this smell. Kind of sweet, but in a rotting way. We only caught whiffs of it now and then, and none of us could figure out where it was coming from. Despite the weirdness, we pushed on and eventually found a nice clearing to set up camp. We convinced ourselves we were just overanalyzing things. It was a remote area after all. Maybe that's just what deep forest feels like. Everything else about the first day seemed normal enough. We made camp, ate, told stories, drank by the fire. By nightfall, we were all feeling more relaxed. But when we woke up the next morning, everything had changed. The first thing I noticed was the light. The forest didn't look the same. We had fallen asleep surrounded by tall pines, but now we were surrounded by thick, gnarled oaks and birches draped in hanging moss. The air was heavier, the ground dry and cracked where it should have been soft and covered in pine needles. At first, we thought maybe we'd accidentally moved locations, but all our gear was in the exact same position we left it in. Even the fire pit was still there, but the forest was completely different. Chris climbed one of the taller trees to try to see where we were. He said the forest stretched endlessly in all directions, with no sign of trails, no creeks, no familiar landmarks. And his phone, which had shown at least minimal signal the day before, now had nothing. Sarah started to panic. Honestly, I was barely keeping it together. We tried retracing our steps, but no matter which direction we walked, it felt like the forest was subtly changing around us. Branches that weren't there before, trees that seemed to shift when we weren't looking directly at them. Eventually, we came across something that stopped us cold. Another campfire ring. Ours. Same logs, same leftover cans, even the same broken folding chair. But our tents and backpacks were gone. It was like we had looped back to our starting point, but something had taken our stuff. Night fell, but the air never cooled, and the forest was dead silent. No bugs, no animals, no breeze, just complete stillness, broken occasionally by distant, deliberate footsteps that circled us but never came into view. The next morning, the light still hadn't changed. It was locked in this weird, endless morning glow. We packed up what little we had left and just started walking in one direction. I don't know how long we walked. Hours, maybe days. Time didn't feel real in that place. Eventually, we stumbled out onto a dirt road. The second we crossed the tree line, the forest behind us shifted back to normal pine trees. The air smelled fresh again. The sun was finally moving in the sky. We flagged down a truck. The driver told us we were about 200 miles south of Pine Hollow, near a place none of us had ever heard of. There's no way we could have traveled that far on foot, especially overnight. None of us remember moving. I don't know what happened out there. I don't know if we crossed into somewhere else or if something was playing with us. But none of us are ever going camping again. Ever. Title: I was part of the camping trip where we woke up in a different forest. Here's what I remember. Hey, I'm Sarah, the friend mentioned in the original post about the camping trip that went wrong. I asked OP if I could share my side because I've been seeing your comments, and honestly, there's more to this than he knows. First of all, everything he wrote is true, every single part. But there are things I noticed that I didn't say at the time because I was trying not to scare everyone, or maybe I didn't want to believe it myself. Here's what I remember. When we first got to the forest, it already felt wrong. I didn't just feel unsettled. I felt watched. I kept getting this crawling sensation on the back of my neck like something was just behind me, right outside of my line of sight. There was this moment when I wandered off a little to go to the bathroom. I swear, just for a split second, I saw something tall and pale standing between the trees. It was gone the second I focused on it. I told myself it was just a trick of the light, but it stuck with me. And that smell? The sweet, rotting smell? I kept catching stronger whiffs of it than the others did. It made me feel lightheaded, like it was pulling me somewhere. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be the paranoid one. But here's the thing. That first night around the fire, I had a dream. I haven't told the others this until now. In the dream, I was walking alone through the forest. The trees weren't pine. They were the twisted ones we woke up in the next morning. Everything was gray and damp, and I kept hearing whispering in a language I couldn't understand. It felt like the forest wanted me to follow the whispers, like they were calling me deeper in. When I woke up, we were in the different forest. Same one from my dream. It didn't feel like a coincidence. Also, I heard them. The footsteps. But sometimes I heard something else. My name. Soft, just past the edge of the campfire's glow. It wasn't Chris, it wasn't Jake, it wasn't OP. It was something else, pretending to be familiar. When we finally made it out and that guy picked us up, I felt relief, but it didn't last long. I've been hearing faint whispering ever since. At night. Sometimes during the day when I'm alone. I keep seeing things move just out of the corner of my eye. I don't think whatever we found in that forest ever let us go. I haven't told the guys yet because I don't want to scare them more than they already are. But something followed us back. I'm sure of it. I don't know what to do. If anyone's experienced something like this, please tell me. Please. Comment by you/Chris out here, replying to Sarah's post. Hey, it's Chris, the other guy from the trip. I wasn't planning on posting anything because honestly, I've been trying to forget all of this. But when I read Sarah's post, I realized I can't ignore it anymore. There's something I didn't tell either of you because I thought maybe I was losing my mind. But now, I think we all saw different pieces of something much bigger. About 2 weeks after we got back, I couldn't stop thinking about the forest. I kept checking news reports, local forums, ranger posts, anything I could find. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to know if anything else had happened there. That's when I found it. A group of 4 hikers went missing in Pine Hollow. Same area. They went in a few weeks after we did and just vanished. Their last known location was maybe 2 miles from where we originally set up camp. Rangers found their car at the trailhead. No sign of them after that. No footprints, no gear, no emergency calls. Just gone. The part that messed me up? One of the search and rescue officers reported finding a campfire ring with half-burned logs and some food cans around it. Sound familiar? They even described finding a broken folding chair, exactly like the one we left behind. But they said it didn't make sense because the site seemed aged, like it had been abandoned for years, not days. And yet the logs were still warm. I haven't told you guys this, but I've been having dreams too. Except mine are always about that other campsite. I see myself sitting there alone, surrounded by trees that aren't supposed to be there. I can hear footsteps circling me, just out of sight. Sometimes, in the dream, I can hear OP and Sarah calling for me, but their voices are wrong. They're close, but they don't feel real, like something is copying them. The worst part? I woke up one night to find dirt and dead leaves on my bedroom floor. No windows open, no doors unlocked. I think Sarah's right. I don't think we ever really made it out of that forest. Maybe part of us is still there, stuck in that endless morning. If you're reading this, please don't go to Pine Hollow. I don't think it's just a forest. And if anyone knows what this is, if you've heard of anything like this before, please tell us, because I think it's still looking for us. Title: The Voice in the Woods. Something's wrong with... It's me again. Sarah. I didn't think I'd post again. After Chris's reply, I tried to shut all of this out. I wanted to believe we just had a shared trauma, that it would go away if we stopped feeding it. But it's not going away. It's getting worse. The whispers aren't just in my head anymore. I'm hearing his voice more and more often now. It's clearest late at night when the house is silent. I'll be in bed, and I'll hear him calling my name from the hallway, soft and calm, just like he did on that trip. Sometimes I hear him from outside my window. I live on the second floor. I've been avoiding using his name. I know that probably sounds strange, but I'm afraid if I say it, if I type it, it'll bring him closer. It's like the forest is still connected to him, and maybe through him, it's connected to us. I just have this feeling that speaking his name is like opening a door. When I texted him about it a week ago, he brushed it off with a joke. Same old him, telling me to stop watching horror movies, that I'm psyching myself out. He's always been the one to laugh this stuff off, but now his calm is starting to feel wrong, like it's too controlled, like he knows something. I started piecing things together. Looking back at the trip, he was the one who insisted we camp in that particular spot. He said it felt right. He wasn't surprised by the claw marks. He called them just old bear scratches, without even really looking at them. When we started to get nervous about how quiet the forest was, he kept pushing us forward. He didn't seem scared when we woke up in the other forest, not like the rest of us. There's one detail I never told anyone. When we were trying to retrace our steps, I remember I kept hearing something behind me, crunching leaves, soft footfalls. I thought we were being followed. When I turned around, he was always just a few steps behind me, smiling, like he was waiting for me to notice him. At the time, I told myself I was being paranoid. Now I'm not so sure. 3 nights ago, I heard his voice calling me again. It was clearer than ever. He was outside. I know how that sounds, but I swear on my life, I heard him. I grabbed my phone and ran to the window. There were pine needles scattered all over my balcony. I live nowhere near pine trees. I called him immediately. He answered. He was calm. Too calm. He said he was home, hours away. But I could still hear his voice calling me outside my window while he was on the phone. When I told him that, he just paused and said, "Sometimes, I think part of me never left the forest." Then he hung up. I haven't been able to reach him since. I just texted OP. I told him everything. I told him I think he knew. I think he was part of it. I think he brought us there on purpose. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if he's still him. I don't know if he ever was. But I can hear him right now. He's outside my door. Title: Things I Never Told You. Hey, it's Jake. Yeah, that Jake. The one from the posts you've all been reading. I figured it's about time I said something, since I've been seeing the comments, the DMs, the theories. Some of you are close. Some of you are way off. The truth is, there are things I never told them. When I suggested Pine Hollow for our trip, I already knew about it. I'd been there before. Not exactly the same place we camped, but close. When I was a kid, my family used to go hiking there. Once, I got separated from them. I wandered off the trail and got lost for hours, or at least that's what they thought. But to me, it didn't feel like hours. It felt like days. I ended up in a part of the forest I'd never seen before. The trees were different. The air was different. I wasn't scared. In fact, I felt like I was supposed to be there. I remember hearing whispers, but I could understand them back then. They weren't threatening. They were familiar. Eventually, I found my way back. My parents were crying. They thought I'd only been gone for half an hour. I never told them where I'd been. I just knew I wanted to go back. I've been going back ever since, quietly, alone. But I couldn't find that place again for a long time. I'd get close, but the door wouldn't open. Not for me, not alone. Some doors need more than one key. When I planned that trip with OP, Sarah, and Chris, I didn't really know what would happen. I just felt like the door was waiting. I knew which path to take, I knew which spot to choose, and I knew the forest would notice us if I brought the right people. I've always felt the pull, but this time, the forest pulled back. It's not what you think. I didn't bring them there to hurt them. I brought them there to find my way home. Some part of me has always been there. And now, some part of them is too. Title: Has anyone seen Jake M. went missing near Pine Hollow? Please read. Posted by You Concerned as 89, 1 week ago. Local subreddit. Hey everyone, I'm not sure if this is the right place to post, but I'm desperate for help. My brother, Jake M., has been missing for about 3 weeks now. He told our family he was going camping near Pine Hollow for a solo weekend trip. That wasn't unusual for him. He loved going off-grid, sometimes for days at a time. But this time, he didn't come back. We reported him missing after he missed work, didn't return calls, and no one could find him at home. His car was found parked at the Pine Hollow trailhead, but there was no sign of his campsite, no gear, no tracks. It's like he just walked into the woods and disappeared. Search and rescue teams have gone through the area several times. Nothing. What's really strange is that when they checked his apartment, it looked like he had just stepped out for a second. His phone was on the table. His backpack was by the door, untouched. Here's the part that's really bothering me. I found a notebook on his desk. Just a single page written over and over again in his handwriting. I'm already home. I'm already home. I'm already home. Has anyone out there seen him? He's about 5'10", short brown hair, usually wearing a green jacket and a gray beanie. Please, if you've seen anything or know someone who's recently gone camping in Pine Hollow and might have seen him, reach out. Also, this might sound crazy, but a few people in the comments of a different thread have mentioned hearing a man's voice calling them by name while camping out there. Please, if you've heard this, even if you think you imagined it, let me know. We just want to find Jake. Title: Final update. Some of us were always part of the forest. I wasn't sure if I should post this. Honestly, I've been holding it back, but maybe it doesn't matter anymore. This will be my last update. It has to be. Things didn't end well. Chris couldn't let it go. Even after the voices, the missing hikers, the warnings, he went back to Pine Hollow again and again, alone. He told me the voice was getting closer, that he could almost find him, that Jake was still waiting. I told him to stop. Some things don't want to be found. But Chris wouldn't listen. Search and rescue found his abandoned camp a few weeks ago, not far from where Jake's car was left. His gear was untouched, his tent still zipped. No signs of him. Sarah didn't make it either, not really. Her family says she's in a psych ward now. They found her wandering barefoot outside her house at 2 a.m., whispering to herself, over and over, "He's outside. He's outside. He's waiting for me to come back." They say she's stable, but I know she never really left the forest. I've been quiet this whole time. I let them tell their stories, but I've always wondered what would have happened if I told them the part I left out. The part I'm not sure they were ready to hear. Some of us don't need to be called. Some of us never needed directions. Some of us have always known the way. Sometimes the forest doesn't call to you. Sometimes it calls through you. Chris said he heard a voice. Sarah said she heard him outside her window. People on the trail said they heard someone calling their names. Software calm. Familiar. Sometimes when I speak, I wonder if they knew it was me. Sometimes I wonder if I ever really stopped calling.